Today is June 5th, 2025. My name is Charles Suter, and today I'm presenting part 4 of my series, Process Reengineering. And with all my previous presentations on this subject, the main message remains the same. If you want better outcomes, then re-engineer your processes to get them. This presentation focuses on 3 more of the most important principles of reengineering for any process that provides inputs as a means to create desired outcomes. Not every process is inherently efficient or maximally effective. The purpose of process reengineering is to review a process and attempt to 1. Minimize the required inputs to the process, minimize the processing time it takes to convert inputs to outcomes, and maximize both the quality and quantity of outcomes. There are specific principles and methods that can be applied to the search for process improvements. Today I'm presenting 3 more of these principles. Principle number 10. Build in flexibility for growth and unexpected contingencies, because not every operation runs smoothly. They're always going to get problems. A process must be robust enough and capable of dealing with uncertainties and contingencies. A process must be able to handle a surge in demand, for example. And no process should have a single point of failure without known and existing workarounds. When external conditions change, the process must be adaptable and flexible to meet those changes. Often, there are shortages in the availability of resources or inputs, and sometimes there are higher demands for outputs. How well the process is designed to handle these stressing conditions determines the robustness of the process. If the process is expected to have a variety of loads demanded on it, then the process should be designed with robustness as one of the requirements. Robustness of a process must be designed in at the very beginning. Can't be an afterthought. There should be optimal ways to handle varying throughputs to the process whenever it's required. A process should also strive to minimize single points of failure where one person or machine can shut down the entire process. Principle number 11. Right-sizing tasks with labors, tools, and technology. Whenever possible, make doing the work as easy as possible. Whenever possible, let the tools and machines do the hard, repetitive tasks. Workers should be empowered as decision makers, dealing with contingencies and difficult customers. People don't enjoy repetitive, laborious tasks, so it's best to utilize tools and technology to the maximum, where, of course, it's feasible and affordable. The better and more capable the tools and reliable the machines, the fewer the chances of human error. Work and job descriptions can be defined in many different ways, so allow the people doing the work a voice in their job design within the scope of the work that needs to be done. By giving employees leeway in making changes on an interim basis whenever a contingency develops, the workflow can continue without work stoppages without having to get higher management approval in order to proceed. Empower your employees to make decisions on the spot. Principle number 12. Codify and document your best practices for each task in the process. The goal is to simplify task processes and the system for getting work done and outcomes completed. You should combine tasks only for greater efficiency and effectiveness. Train workers in the best practices and cross-train them to perform all the tasks in the process if possible. If knowledge is created, it must be captured and codified in terms of best practices so that it doesn't get lost when workers retire or leave the process. Work should be standardized whenever possible and based on best practices. Work should also be benchmarked against similar processes by similar organizations. As new ways of doing business are discovered by other organizations learn from them, and cherry pick those aspects of process improvements as might apply to your own organization's processes. Process improvements should be continuous, and new ideas should be harvested from many different sources. The best processes have shrinking inputs and expanding outputs. Now, my main message, as always, re-engineering processes periodically to continually get the best results. This is not a once and done deal. Things change too much and too rapidly. There's always new and better ways to get work done, especially in the modern age, where new tools and technology are continually emerging. The intention of process reengineering is to investigate a given process and find ways to improve it by reducing the required inputs, decreasing the throughput time, and increasing the benefits of the outcomes. These process improvements come by applying some or all of the 12 reengineering principles that have been presented in this series. Well, that wraps up this series of process reengineering. Remember to stay positive, you'll be happier, healthier, and live longer.